Today, the moon continues in deep, watery Scorpio, where we are connecting with a deeper truth, especially because we are still in the new moon vibes, where we deepen into the world, the realm of mystery and what is stirring below the surface. The new moon is a time to plant seeds and put things in motion that we want to see come to fruition later on. We also have today Neptune retrograde going back into Pisces. So we're going to be entering this next phase, this next several months of reviewing some of the Neptune in Pisces work, some of the unfinished business that we need to complete. And it's really a gift that we have this opportunity to deepen a little bit more into finishing maybe what we could still yet do better at with Neptune in Pisces before we go back into Aries and new beginnings. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Wednesday, October 22nd. So yesterday was the new moon in Libra. I've been sharing about that. I had a in-depth video on Sunday about the vibes of the alignments and what to expect around how to think about this new moon in Libra, more mature energy that we need to step into connected to relationship and how we work together with other people. If they would all just do what I want them to do, everything would be fine, right? Let's just that's the easy answer. But of course, it does not work that way. So we have to step into the hard work, the challenging work of figuring out how to work together effectively. And of course, there are going to be those people with whom, something is easy or feels good sometimes, and maybe all the time, but you're not going to have any single person that it feels good to be with all the time, everything, right? So there's always some place of challenge, at least usually, I'm guessing, but there's somewhere where there's some work to do. So we're doing that work. This is the moon cycle where things are being put in motion to do that deeper healing work on our relationship selves. What's a relationship self? It's the part of us that shows up in relationship. It's not, and it can't be our relationship with ourself, because that is a relationship too. There may be some deeper work to do there on your relationship with yourself. But Libra is not about the self. It is about relatedness. It is about what happens when there is an external perspective. And when your relationship to yourself is what you're talking about, it might be an external, internal perspective, but it's still outside of how you normally think, right? Your old ways of thinking, your automatic ways of thinking. Maybe you have a relationship with a part of yourself that can reflect on what your automatic default ways of being are. So there might be two parts of yourself, or probably more, and how those parts relate to each other is, in fact, a relationship. But the point is that when you're talking about relationship, you're talking about two, no longer just one, but now two. Profound, really. Like, I could sit on a mountaintop just reflecting on that for a lifetime or more, probably, just like the difference between one and two. Okay, all right. I don't mean to get too deep on you. But so today, Neptune goes back into Pisces, and just around 2:47 a.m. Pacific time, Neptune retrograde returns to Pisces. So again, Neptune stays in a sign for many, many years. It went into Pisces in 2011, and has been there until earlier this year, 2025, when everything changes. All that shift is going on. So Neptune went into Aries, and that shift in the zodiac. It's profound from Pisces to Aries. So the end of Pisces to the beginning of Aries is like you go from the dream to here we go, emergence, birth. What am I here to do? How do I do it? There is a trial and error process with Aries energy of new beginnings, of figuring it out, because it is about new ways forward, embodying new possibilities, so many levels. Pisces is about dissolving. It's really about dissolving the old structures, the old forms, transcending form to connect with a bigger spiritual picture, transcending the ordinary, the everyday. So we dream in Pisces what we give birth to in Aries. So Neptune has been retrograde and now is going back into Pisces after it left Pisces earlier this year, went into Aries, bringing us some introduction to what is going to come next. And that's happening again on many levels. It's not one thing, but we have this sense of, okay, here it is. Here we go. This is what it looks like. This is what we're dealing with. New ways forward. How are we going to respond? Where is courage needed? Where is action needed? All of these themes. And now Neptune going back into Pisces says, you need to go back to the place where you were dreaming this new way forward, and you need to get the dream right. So we get to go back to that place of transcendence, to that place where we're sort of, in a way, like disembodying, disengaging ourselves. It's not that we will stop being where we are, but there's a process that takes us back into the dream, the dreaming part. And so now through late January of 2026, we have this opportunity to envision, connect with a bigger picture of meaning, what we care about and why, what are our spiritual needs, our bigger picture principles, what gives meaning to our actions in the bigger picture. In other words, it's a little bit like, you go ashore and it's like, oh, okay, here we are. And then you get to go back now to the boat, to the ocean, and think about it a little bit more. Like, okay, you got that little taste of what it was like to have your feet on land. Now, let's go back and you get to dream a little bit more. You get to think about it. You get to figure out who you are, how you want to approach that next landing. And so we're doing that collectively. Each of us will have our own path and our own process around that. Once Neptune stations direct, then we'll be beginning to move forward with that dreaming process. Right now, it's retrograde, so it's unfolding inside of us. It's an inner process, an inside job. So there we are. Here we are. We get to finish some unfinished business, complete some places that we maybe were in the imagination phase. Well, we have been since 2011, uh, not just imagining, but being guided by all the lights that are around us, the real and true ones, the false and fake ones, the information, the misinformation, the myth, the narrative, all of it is all out there, and it's this soup we've been swimming in. Neptune going into Aries says, what are you going to do about it? Choose, right? It's decisive. It wants us to choose that path forward. So we need to go back, think about all those options, all those narratives, myths, mythologies, principles. What have we believed before? Where were we misguided? Where do we need to get back on track? Was the guiding light we were following the right guiding light, or do we need to revisit that? Those are some of the things we're going to be thinking about and working through with Neptune back in Pisces. And then January 26th, I think, it goes back into Aries, where it will stay until the mid 2030s. So that Aries warrior courage action is coming again. We dipped our toes in it. Now we're going back, and we will land on the shore again, and we will go forward without looking back the next time. So Neptune going back into Pisces. We also have today thinking about Mercury and Mars together in Scorpio, heading into a grand trine with Saturn and Jupiter. So that is kind of in the process of taking shape as those planets move closer into more of an exact grand trine in water themes of flow and intuition and feelings and trusting energy. What does that look like for you? So those themes, especially up with the moon in Scorpio and needing to take care of yourself, your inner needs, your inner process, what is moving and stirring beneath the surface that needs your care and time and attention to unfold in that process of mystery. We can't understand it. We can feel it though. And so you might need to take some space, give yourself some sacred time and space for what is moving and unfolding inside of you to be able to continue doing that, deepening into trust, self-trust first, and then of course we are working on trust in relationships and how we build that throughout this moon cycle. Thanks for being here. I'm Marina Orms. You can learn more about me and how to book a reading with me at astrologyheals.com, and also transformationalastrology.com is where you can support my work through free or paid membership. Check all of that out at transformationalastrology.com. More about the lunar nodes and your evolutionary medicine there, the recent eclipse, and more. And there will be more coming. So thanks for being here and for subscribing to this YouTube channel. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.